Hello everybody, and welcome. Today is the day. Today, we build a travel computer. Let's dig in. Alright everybody, hello and welcome. My name is SynisterIncubus. If you guys have been keeping track of my current trips up to the Chicago area on me going to Micro Center and getting a few things, then you might recognize this guy, which is the 3060 Ti. I have a few other parts. And of course you all know now that I'm building a travel PC. I got to meet One Colony, which is a good guy. If you guys have not met or seen One Colony, his link is in the description below. Also, don't forget to go follow my other guys. We got Adrionic, IkuzoMundo, MixoNat, Lambdaman, Thusiastic, which is a little out of commission right now. But guys, I'm gonna leave their links in the description below. Go follow the guys, they are awesome, and I wouldn't be here today without them. But, moving on, we all know why you're here. We're going with the Trident Z RGB on this. It's kind of, I'm a little upset. It's faster than the RAM that's actually in my PC right now, but only by a little bit, so it's not really noticeable. This is 3600, and the one I have in there right now is 32, but no big deal. That's not a big deal at all. I am going with my old Ryzen 7 GPU that I actually had, or CPU, sorry, that I had in this PC that I'm using to record on right now. And we're gonna get into a lot of other fun bits as we get to building, and I hope you guys are gonna have a good time following along. And I can't wait. And the one thing I'm so excited about is going to be the case. And I haven't had a chance to look at it. I've seen a few videos on it, but I'm really excited to actually open the box and look at it. So let's get started. So here, you can't really see it, but I have the Phanteks Evolv Shift XT. Let's unbox this bee. All right, let's see what's in here. Don't judge me. My state-of-the-art ruler is going to open this up. All right. All right, here we go. Here, I'm excited about this. I'm excited to see the case and see how this thing works. Now, apparently this is a convertible case, so you can convert things. I mean, obviously, but all right. So here's what we got inside the box. So we got an accessory kit right there. Not really sure what this is. We'll set this aside for right now. I've got some nice foam that we're gonna get out of here. All right, looks like they got this in a nice felt bag too, so that's pretty cool. Let's get this beast out of here, shall we? I can already see something right here. So we got whatever this is, whatever that is. Set that to the side. Oh. So there it is. I believe it is convertible. We're going to figure that out together on how this thing converts, okay? So here we have this beautiful, beautiful case. I believe there are probably some instructions in here on how exactly to use it. I am new to, this is also, it's Phanteks, so I'm very new to their stuff. Okay, so here's like a little quick start guide on like how to use it, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but kind of shows you how to remove all the panels and everything and kind of get started. Harmay requests, trash, and Evolv Shift XT. Okay, and I mean, looking at this, wow, they spare no expense on this. I mean, it's super clean, all in color, kind of shows you where to mount everything. That's really cool. That's going to come in handy. So we're going to lay that right there. All right, and then there's the extension brackets that I was discussing earlier to change up the case itself. So we'll leave that here in the box and we'll move this off to the side. Remove magnetic panel here. So, okay, that was easy. So just held on by like two little magnets there. That's pretty neat. And I am looking at these instructions right here. Slide locks open. So, okay. Those, oh, okay. Slide top panel forward and lift up. Whoa. Amazing how instructions work. So there's like the top panel. And we'll get to this later also on how this converts. Slide mesh panels. Oh, okay. The mesh panels slide up. Very nice, very nice. Set this off to the side. I'm guessing this one does the same. Yep. Okay. And now you're kind of getting an idea how this thing looks on the inside. As you can see. Unlock the thumb screw. Okay, that's back here. Okay, so there's a little thumb screw back here. This little guy. And that comes off. That in our little tray here. And then slide chassis to the front and lift up. Just like the top panel. And there it is. We have our shell. So here's the bottom plate here. Kind of like the front. The little rubber mounts. And now we have basically our shell of a body here. That's just kind of all open. Even it looks like they even have this little thing down here to kind of route some wires. So that's interesting. All right, so there it is. We got a glass panel here on front. This is glass. It's got a nice little protective film on it right now, which I'm not going to pull off because, you know, you don't want to mess that up. All right, unscrew the 2 chassis screws to lift up the radiator bracket. By the way, this can fit a 240 rad in the top here, so you can actually mount and liquid cool your CPU, which I think is pretty badass for a mini ITX build. And take these guys off. Sorry if that is loud on camera. Those 2 screws there, and this actually flips up to basically hold in. It actually will hold itself right here, but it basically flips up to hold the radiator. I believe it comes out. Slide to the left. Yep. So this bracket basically just holds your radiator and your fans. But right now, without that bracket on there, you have access to the it's for just being a shell. It is like super solid. Like I'm trying to twist it, and it's barely twisting. Like this thing is solid for even just being a shell of a container right now. So that's pretty badass. All right, so what I'm gonna start doing is getting all the parts out so we can start assembling. And of course, we're gonna go by the book to see what the book says as far as like what to put in first, how to route cables, and all that good stuff, because they give you a very detailed, nice little book here. This thing is like full color. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like full color and everything. It's really neat. So we're gonna get started. I am going by the manual. I'm gonna follow it word for word. And the first thing it's telling me to do is install the CPU air cooler and or backplate on the motherboard. Obviously that is the first thing for any PC, you wanna do that. And secure the motherboard with 4-time motherboard screws. So basically they're telling you to mount the motherboard first. Now, you know, a good computer builder, I have not even opened the motherboard yet. This is a refurbished motherboard from Amazon, but it is a good motherboard. So I went with the, whoa, let's not open that upside down. I went with the X570. They gave me some SATA cables and I guess some Wi-Fi antennas. There's our I/O plate. There we go. And here we are. Let's get rid of that guy. Alright, so here is our actual motherboard. Alright. So there it is, guys. There is the motherboard I'm going with. ROG Strix. Again, it is a X570. We are going with AMD, of course, because I don't like Intel. That is a personal opinion. Don't hate me. So my favorite part, of course, is installing the CPU. I did have some KPX, but I sadly ran out with a different build. I love KPX thermal paste. That is just my own opinion. So I'm going to use the Arctic MX4 this time around, thermal compound, for this build. Which is also a very good high-rated thermal paste, so I'm not worried about that, and it's on my finger already. Okay, it's fine. Okay, it's fine. All right, first off, this guy's got to go. Again, we are not using this mount. We're not using these the typical tower mount that you would use on AMD. We are using an AIO, and I will show you the AIO we're going to use here very, very soon. Now, one thing you don't want to do is throw these away. Don't throw these away. I don't know why people do that. You never know when you're going to upgrade your actual motherboard, and if you upgrade your motherboard and you throw these out, people might get a little mad because there are still some towers that use these brackets. So if you throw these brackets out, then you might make somebody mad who's trying to buy it off of you. Better selling point, I guess you could say. So we're going to put these over here, because I keep dropping these screws everywhere. Alright, and if you lift up, there's that plate. Don't lose that backing plate either. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is install the CPU, which is my favorite part. I don't know why, don't judge me, it just is. Now again, as I was saying, we're going with the Ryzen 7. This is the one that used to be in my PC. It is the 3900, I believe, or 3700. This was in my PC before I got the Ryzen 9. It is the 3700X. Okay, so installing a CPU is easy. You just kind of pop this up here on an AMD. Now this AMD socket's going to be different than an Intel. Intel has pins on the board. AMD has pins on the CPU. So all you have to do is, even on the front and the back of the CPU, it's microscopic on here, so it might be hard to see, but I'm going to try to show you. You'll see here in this corner, there is a little arrow. I don't know if you can see it on here. You might be able to see it more on the back. See the arrow right there? It's not in any of the other corners. So, that arrow is going to match up with an arrow here, which you can't really see, but it's on the socket. So all you have to do is find your arrow, and you want to just gently drop the CPU in. Now, this should not be tough. It should stay, it just fall right in. Don't push it, don't crank it in there, and then you push this down and pop it in place. And now you can see CPU is not falling out. It's good to go. It's tight in there. Clean install. So it's only fitting that we go with a Phanteks Glacier One 240 rad AIO, since we're going with the Phanteks Shift XT. So this one is actually designed where it will fit in this case. And since this is a mini ITX build and everything's gonna be really tight, I wanted to make sure that it was gonna fit. So let's open this guy, since this is very, very new. It's even got that fresh peel. Hasn't even been opened this far. You know, I wanted to do this with you guys because this is exciting for me, and I hope it's exciting for you guys also. That is a big piece of cardboard. But hey, guys, go follow on Instagram and Facebook. See that? Go follow. They make good stuff. All right. And of course, they have the different variations that you guys can get with all the different fans, and you can get it in a 240, 360, 280, which I've never seen before. So that's interesting. Okay, so this is the cover, obviously, for the Phanteks. I don't know if we're going to be able to use this or not, because this is massive. This thing, if you see it, is huge. So we're going to see if we can fit this in there later on, but it's just a little pop-on cover with RGB. We won't really need that. It's magnetic, but we don't really need that since it's going to be kind of hidden in this little build anyway. So we'll put this off to the side for now. And thus we get to what we need. Here's the retention bracket. That's the retention bracket we'll need for the motherboard. I'm actually really surprised that they included their own thermal paste. They included their own tube of thermal paste in here. Phanteks, looks like it's PHNDC thermal compound. However, I know the MX4 thermal compound will be perfectly fine for what we need. Alright, and here you have your cables for the Glacier One, which again, we'll set these off to the side. Wow, here are the fans, guys. These fans are thick boys. These are thick. Wow, look at that. Look how thick this is. I don't know if you guys can really see that on camera, but wow, that is thick.
Boy, that's a thick ass boy!
They also have these uprisings here on the fan blades, if you can see that. And what these do here is it allows the air that's passing through the blades to not get lost. You'll see a lot of fans that have a ring around it, and that allows the air that's getting trapped in the fan to not get past and have air loss. These are definitely for static pressure, mostly it seems, so being against a rad. The fans look great, everything looks good. They do have a protective film on here, which I'm not going to take off just yet. But these are some thick fans. I'm going to set all the rest of this stuff off to the side, because the only thing we really need right now is our nice install instructions and our mounting backplate. So this bracket you will use if you're using AMD, you will use your stock bracket, and then they give you standoffs for your motherboard. So you use these guys here, these little guys, as standoffs. So these go in here. So there are the standoffs. Standoffs installed now. So you see these guys right here? That's obviously for mounting of the Phanteks guy, and we can orient it in a lot of different ways. So now we get to put, since everything is on here that we need, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to install the M2 drive. So it is right here, and I get to get this nice, you guys get to experience this with me. We're going to do this nice peel here. Ready? Ooh, yeah. God, I love peeling the plastic. It's so satisfying. This is just a heatsink, as you can see. So this is a heatsink for your M2 drive. You're going to want to remove this when you put it back on. Alright, so we're using an Evo Plus 970 NVMe M2. So that should be perfectly enough for just storage. And then of course I'm going to have my external for any videos I'm currently editing. M2 NVMe drive. Now, obviously the M2 ports are going to be so much faster than a SATA drive. So there's a little screw right here, a little post that the NVMe goes into. So this, obviously your drive goes in here, kind of in an angle. It kind of sticks in at an angle and then springs down onto that post. And then you put the screw in and it holds itself pretty flush in there. And then you put the heatsink back on top. So we're just gonna orient this the correct way and get this guy screwed back down. There we go. That is another satisfying peel of this right off of that heatsink. Now again, these heat sinks here are basically a thermal paste pad. Now I want to make sure that I line these pins up, because these pins have to go right in this little connector here. And I'll push it down on there and then push it down in place, and then I just want to kind of gently push down on it to get it nice and flush with that NVMe drive. And of course I'll put my screws back in. Now that that's all installed, we're going to put this bad guy here and this bad guy and have a bunch of bad guys. So with all of our standoffs installed on the motherboard and the M2 drive, you have these posts here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to hold the motherboard in. Now this here is your nice, this is going to be your GPU cable. Now it's called a riser cable. Basically what these are used for usually is for like tilting your GPU vertically where you can't connect it to the motherboard. This is just for connecting to the motherboard so you can have your GPU completely on the other side and kind of optimize your space. And this is, it should just pop down in place on those 4 screw posts, just like that, nice and in there. And then you want to put your post screws in to hold it in there. Okay, now with the motherboard installed, we're going to push this down here for this riser cable. Now this riser cable is just going to click right in here to this port. You can see it right there, or it's like right underneath it. We're just going to click right in that port there and be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now this cable is really tight. I don't know if it really just doesn't want to go in there. It is a Gen 4 PCIe, which it says right here on it. It'd be really hard to see, but it says right here Gen 4. So these guys are obviously multiple different things for the case. You have your USB-C, which sadly this board does not have a plug for, So we may take this guy out just for extra room, because there is one at the front of the case for USB-C, but it also has one back here on the I/O, so I'm not really worried about that. Now I have your power switch, of course, power switch cable, which you're gonna need, and then some headers here for obviously your RGB lighting for the front of the case. Now in here as well is of course your USB. Here's the USB 3.0. So we're just gonna start connecting some stuff. This goes right here. Nice. And then we'll get the power supply here very soon and get that stuff going. So for power supply, guys, I went with an EVGA 750. Of course, it's 80 plus gold, and this is the SFX. So it's a mini power supply. So this will have all the cables and everything we need in it. That's kind of where we are right now. So we're going to work on getting that installed. All right, so let's open this one together too, guys. Here's that awesome peel again. Get all that nice plastic off of there. 750 is perfectly fine for what we need. We got our little booklet. I don't really need a booklet for the power supply because it is completely modular. So completely modular means basically you can plug in what you need. All the cables are not pre-installed. So these are all the cables we would need. And again, they're not pre-installed. Well, except for the power cable. Obviously you need the power cable, but you have, you know, your CPU cable, VGA cable. So I'm just saying, like, this is what modular means. There is a nice mounting bracket if you do need it, which I don't believe we will. All right, here's our little sandwich of a power supply in here. All right, there it is. Little bitty guy. Little bitty guy. I'm so used to such bigger power supplies, but look at that little guy. So it does have an auto eco mode apparently. So this just says it right here. There's an auto eco mode. So auto eco system provides zero noise to low moderate loads. The fan will not rotate in this mode. So unless there's a switch under here, which there is not. There is no switch under there. Usually there's a switch for the eco, but there's not on this one. No big deal. Not worried about that. It's showing on the on here that they want the fan facing the back of the chassis. I'm not sure how I feel about that because they have a blow-through style right here on this grate, as you can see. So this is all blow-through. And if you have a blow-through GPU, which I do not, but if you ever had a blow-through GPU, it's going to come through and just hit a solid wall here of nothing. So I think if you had it the other way and had the fan against the GPU, it would help blow air in and down. It might heat your GPU or your power supply up a little bit more, but I think that's what I'm going to do just for that airflow, which, I mean, there's definitely enough space there to where it can help vent out a lot of that air. And we can run some tests to see obviously what's the best option. It's as easy as just flipping the power supply around, right? All right. Nice in there. Again, I would rather have the fan facing towards the GPU to kind of suck air in and down rather than it just hitting a brick wall here. I don't want that GPU heat just hitting here because radiating heat is worse than hot airflow. The cable is kind of in the way of the switch, but not really. I mean, you can easily get your finger back here. It's not like it's too much of a hassle, but it is kind of in the way. But you can see there's, if I can get it in there, there's plenty of space there between the switch, so that's fine. I can handle that. So looking into this USB-C connector, I can't take this out. I wish I could, like my burn. Pretty sick burn, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. Look at it. Okay, this USB-C can't be taken off the front panel, which is no big deal. I can just reroute it since I can't use it. It's just going to be kind of a pain because it's going to still be in the way. So now we're ready for some cabling, guys. We're ready for some beefy boys. And when I mean beefy boys, I mean this 14-pin monstrosity. This one, I absolutely always hate trying to plug this one in. It's really big, and it also has this little guy here on the side that you got to kind of cram in there also. So it's not fun. It's not fun at all. this guy from ASUS. Okay, 3060 should only be one, I believe, one VGA cable, which is no big deal. It's one VGA 8-pin, and hopefully this comes with just 1-to-1. This one is always fun to route. So we're gonna put this guy in here, CPU 1. Now I personally don't like to use the VGA splitters on any any graphics card that needs 2. You can if you want, that is up to you, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the 2 in, the split end down here. That way I can just kind of tuck this guy away wherever I want, you know, maybe like bend it down in here. This VGA cable is gonna go basically right here, but we'll route that when it's time. So I'm obviously trying to do a couple of to route these cables here. So routing these cables is gonna be key in the way this works out in the long run. Okay guys, so I got most of the cables routed here. I got this little VGA for my graphics card. So let's get the graphics card. All right, first time opening this guy too. Here is a nice graphics card, even though you can't see it. There it is. Very nice, very nice. All right, let's get it out of here. So here is the graphics card. It is a 3060 Ti. All you have to do is pull the back out. Flip it up a little bit. There we go. All right, and there we are. There it is. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Another satisfying peel. Here we go. Oh, it's so nice. Oh, yeah. All right, there it is. Very nice. All right. But wait, there's more. You guys wanted more peeling. There's more peeling right here for you. Oh, look at that peel. Oh, so nice. Yes. Yes. Oh. So there is this beautiful GeForce card. We're gonna set this baby right here. So we obviously have to remove some of these back here. You know, these guys. These nice little... This says it fits a 3-pin or a 3-slot card. I doubt it. So I'm actually gonna put it in here and find out. So it's just gonna be these back two. So I'm going to take off these back two here. And these are just a couple of thumb screws. Again, here in the back. So, of course, you want to make sure you take your nice little cover off here of the graphics card. Ah, so nice. Make sure your pins line up with your actual port there. And it just goes down in there until you hear a nice click. Now, of course, we're going to need our thumb screws again to put this back in place. And, of course, as I was saying before, I inevitably dropped a screw, as I usually do. We're going to get these thumb screws in here, and the graphics card, as I don't drop it. Again, I say these screws are kind of tough to get to. I couldn't tell you how many screws I dropped when I was building my other PC. So this giant cable here literally goes right here. And that's it. But you know, I can route this kind of down in here if I wanted to. I do have to make sure that this is bent over and train these cables to kind of bend over and be down. train them to bend over. If you know what I mean. It's not pulled too tight, but it's training these to not be too high so it doesn't hit the top of the rad. So there we go. There's the graphics card in place. You see there's a ton of space still underneath here. A lot of space underneath the graphics card for it to breathe. A lot of space here in the front for it to breathe. Like, this is going to be Really, really good. So now what it's prompting us to do, per the manual, is to put in the radiator. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to install the Trident Z RGB RAM. Nice Trident Z RAM sticks. This is going to be a 32 gig system. These are 16 gig a piece. And there we go. There's the nice Trident Z. Now I know it's basically saying to wait to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because things are getting a little tight. There we go. Push until you hear the click. Things are getting a little tight and I don't want to have to wait until things are too tight to really put the RAM sticks in. There we go. We have our pretty decently sized Phanteks side here. The big rad and the actual cooler itself. Now, this comes stock with the Intel installed. It is pre... I don't really like it when it's pre-thermal pasted. So we're gonna clean that off of there. Now, as you can see, you got a nice copper die to go off of there. So when mounting fans, you want to make sure that you have this mounted appropriately. So the fan's going to spin that way and direct air that way. So you want to make sure that when you do this, that the air is flowing the correct direction through your radiator. And obviously you want to vent outward. So that's what we're doing. Now you can see I'm unscrewing these a little bit here. So what I have, basically, is this is mounted, and I can slide it depending on how it fits the best in the case. I believe that's going to be the best way for this to fit. We're going to gently push and screw in our thumb screws. I'm just going to give these a little boost here. Just a little bump that I couldn't get with my fingers because of the leverage in there. And that is nice. Now, honestly, I didn't think this would fit, but this actually might fit in here. That is sick. I mean, it still fits in there, even after all that. That's nuts. So this actually fits in there. We'll worry about that later, though. Right now, I'm more worried about getting this all together. Shows you on here to even put the zip ties for your tubing. There it is. This is as best as I could get it with the cable management, which we can see here. That is the best I could do. We got a couple zip ties here on the bottom. That's a kind of a disaster, but it's not too bad. This side, it's got the GPU and the SATA cable right here. It's not bad. I don't like this little SATA cable being in here, but it is what it is. But nothing's obstructing the GPU, nothing's obstructing the water cooler fans. Everything is nice and clean. So now we get to put the bottom back on. This should just set in place as long as everything's nice and lined up. It should set in place. Slide right on back. Nice. All right, and then down here there is a little thumb screw that you put in to kind of make sure that doesn't slide out. Just slide these back down in there, like such. Now this is the part that's going to change. So we're going to put this guy here for a second and focus on this. Now these pieces here are obviously extensions. These are extender pieces based on whatever you're doing. Yeah, you can see here it shows 3 different configurations for what you need it for. Obviously, I did an AIO cooler, so we're gonna have to go with the AIO configuration, which should be the highest. So this one goes over here, and we secure it down with 2 screws. Okay, and apparently we just put these screws back in here at the very, very top setting. So you have 3 settings, 1, 2, and 3. This is the lowest, medium, and high. Now we need it the highest because we have, obviously, the AIO. If everything is done correctly, this should set down on here. Back in stock, yeah, back in the back here. Click this in, click that in. So this does not come off. And then your magnetic plate snaps on, just like that. So it got quite big just with the AIO. Now we're all hoping that the AIO is worth it. I've been working on this for a couple hours now, and it's completed. So I'm kind of happy. I am looking forward to seeing it boot. So let's see this thing boot up and see what happens.